Good afternoon and a warm welcome to this live interaction, the third live interaction session of the course Designing Learner-Centric MOOCs. As I see from the window in front of me, I see that there are around 19 concurrent viewers and a couple of them have said hi. So hi to all the learners out there. I hope more number of people are going to come. So since it is called as an interaction session, I may in between ask couple of questions to all of you. So question number one, are you enjoying the designing learner-centric MOOC course? You can respond back in the chat saying yes, no, it could have been much more interesting. So whatever you want to say, you can start with that. So I'll take that as a cue and then I'll slowly delve into each of the questions that you are having. And there are already some questions that learners have asked. So I'll also speak about those questions. Uh, so I'll just waiting for the learners to respond. Hello everyone. Looks like there are no responses coming from the audience. So I'm looking at the chat as well as looking at the, so I can see the chats, etc. in the window over here. So if you have a question, please post in the chat. So what I'll do is I'll just type, please post your responses in the chat window. So if you are watching it through the YouTube onto the right in a desktop, you can see onto the right hand side there is a chat window where you are able to post your questions like what I'm doing right now. So you see a live interaction session. So you can see all these windows that are coming up. So till the time that learners start responding, let me take up the questions that have come in the survey form. So the first question is from Ashita Jain. She's a faculty and what she's saying is, in case of a generic MOOC, how can we design examples and questions that can cater to the learners with different educational backgrounds? Okay, so good question, Ashita. So many of you might be having the same question. Suppose in a MOOC, anybody is supposed to enter. So it means that there can be diverse learners with diverse backgrounds. So how do you set up examples and questions? So this is where the concept of identification of learner cohorts are pretty important. So look at the designing learner-centric MOOC course. We expect primarily, this course is primarily for all the faculty who are planning to offer massive open online courses. Okay, but having said that, we are not limiting it to that particular audience. We are opening it up to anyone. So any learner can, even employed people, students, faculty, anyone can come into it. But our so we have, so whatever you fill as enrollment profile, that data is anyway coming to us. So we know that over the past few runs, almost 70% of the learners in this course are faculty in regular colleges. And because it is a college, primarily they will be interested in the idea of learner centricity. So what we have focused is taking examples from various classroom or other settings and looking at how do you construct when you move from classroom to online setting, how this is slightly different, and then creating examples which are more generic. So we look at generic examples for them. But having said that, we also have learning extension trajectories where we have given research papers, we have given practical example tools, etc. that can cater to even very domain specific faculty also. So in this way, we have different types of assessment as a learning extension trajectory, right? So in the week 2, we had different tools about interactive videos and whatnot in week 2. So in each of these things, primarily we take the wisdom that we gain from our previous editions of courses, and also we have this idea of what is our larger proportion coming from. So we have a data collection. One is through the entry survey, another is through the profile that you fill at the time of enrollment of the courses. So this will give us an idea of who the audience is, and more or less the way we have thought of it, it will be the same set of audience, and they will be the ones who are consuming this content. So I see that the concurrent viewers have increased to 21. So can all the viewers just type out their names or just say hi to me, so that I know that you are there, you are listening to me, and you have understood what I just said. So is it that, let me try to open the, so what I'm doing over here is I am opening a window with the same set of interaction, and I can already see a lot of posts coming over here, which unfortunately is not seen. Oh, a lot of people are responding to me. So there is Ashita, there is Deban, there is Bhavani Sitaraman, this is Ankur Bhogatia. A lot of questions are coming over here. Very sorry, I was not able to. In my screen over here, I'm not able to see the chat coming up live. So let me not see the screen anymore. So what I have is, I have the same video being played over here, and I'm able to see all the chats over here. So a big hi to all the learners out there. So I see that Lucian has logged in from NPTEL IIT Bombay. Lucian is the course TA. So some of the questions that you see are being, so Lucian is the lead TA. Lucian and Narasimha Swami are the people who are helping us from IIT Bombay in framing the questions, looking at answers, identifying issues, etc. And we also have a good set of discussion forum moderators. If you have already seen the discussion forum, we have 7 to 8 of them who are helping you out. There are exam related doubts. So let me just yeah, so there is Bhavani Sitaraman who is telling that I have registered for 2 exams on 29th of March. One is for noon. This course is in the afternoon in the same exam center. Is it that I will know of my exam center only when I get my admit card? Too anxious. So let me first dispel all the exam related worries, because that should be the last thing that a learner of this MOOC should be worried about. The exams will be preferably so in the NPTEL exam form. There are 3 options that you are asked and the sessions that you want. Preferably, as far as possible, if you have taken more than 1 exam on the same day, you will be allotted the same center. Maybe the sessions may be interchangeable, but as far as possible, whatever is your preference, we will try to give it to you. Only in the worst case will we make some changes, but even in that case, if you are trying to write 2 exams on the same day, we will give you the same center. Do not worry. Okay, Manisha Indani has asked, if we have developed learning material and we want to prepare online course for PG students from MOOCs platform, what is the procedure? So let me try to answer it. There are these national coordinators who are offering MOOCs, and NPTEL is one such national coordinator. Similarly, you have UGC, CEC, which is Council of Consortium of Educational Communication Agencies, which is under UGC itself, but that is a separate entity that is handling all the MOOC related thing. Then there is IGNO, there is IIM Bangalore, there is NITTR, there is NCRT, then there is National Institute of Open Schooling. These are the and also AICT, who are offering various. These are the national coordinators who are in charge of selection of teachers for offering MOOCs. So if you are developing a PG MOOC, I think you will have to approach CEC. Okay, that is the agency that you have to approach. And yeah, there is a proposal, there is a filtration process, there is interview and all those things. Some kind of things will be there. Each national coordinator has their own processes and procedures, and only after that you will be given approval for a massive open online course. But you yourself can host an open online course and invite a lot of people. That itself is a massive open online course. So yeah, maybe the certification may be the only barrier over there, but you will have a lot of students coming around to learn from you. Okay, all the admin related queries like payment is not happening, please help. Please note, please send an email to this email ID, support at NPTEL, support at NPTEL. So for all tech and admin support, use support at nptel.iitm.ac.in. Okay, so this is the address that you have to reach out to. Om Prakash Hebbal is telling us that he is unable to access LXI week 3. So LXI week 3 is already enabled. So let me just show you where it is enabled. Okay, so this is the course announcement forum, and if you actually go to ask a question and it will just get loaded, and go to LXI week 3. Yeah, it is already enabled. Already 16 people have joined. You just have to click on new topic, and yeah, so it's already LXI week 3 is there. You don't have to select the other category. If you are posting a very common very specific to LXI week 3, you just have to select that particular category over here. You don't have to select in general forum. Okay, this is an important thing for all the learners out there. Please make sure that you select the category correctly. And if your LXI is also, I mean, LXI, there is a very focused question. So the moment you post something in LXI, it may not be relevant for the general forum category. And basically, you can either start a discussion or ask a question. LXIs are basically start a discussion. If you want to, let's say this is not, let's say all the assessment and content related queries, you can go to the general forum and you can post over there, and here you can click on ask a question such that then the question title. So basically the discussion forum allows both questions as well as discussions. Okay, so if you are having a question, that is where you will have to select that particular tab. I mean that particular selection. If it is a discussion, general open-ended discussion like that of LXI, then it is better to have it posted as a discussion. Okay. Oh, so this is the answer for my first question. Very sorry, I was not able to see most of your responses. Appreciable relook. Okay, so there is Khushi Hindi Manushata Arora who is asking a question. Kindly explain relation of MOOC and Moodle. Okay, think of MOOC as a okay, what is MOOC? So think of Sachin Tendulkar and cricket. So MOOC is basically cricket and Sachin Tendulkar is Moodle. Okay, the analogy. So a player or something which is related, which is actually a term inside the larger umbrella of cricket. So let's say Indian cricket player Sachin. So Indian cricket player will include any Indian player, right? So similarly, Moodle is one of the platform through which you can offer a massive open online course. So that's all. So hi to all the people. So I have already called out names of Tejinder, Ashita, Debayansh, Bhavani, Ankur, and there is VS Kumar. Oh, VS Kumar has asked a question, is there any specific length in terms of time of a lecture video? Again, the shortest answer is, if you keep it small, then you can ensure that students will see it in one go. But yeah, generally, there aren't guidelines specifically to say. Okay, research has proven that length of video, keeping it shorter is always better. But what is more important is it has to be chunked. It has to be made very concise. It has to be made, what do you say? It has to be made into such smaller, legible, understandable chunks like what we do in LED. So you can think of one LED as one chunk, which also has an intermediate question. Okay, or the reflection spot question can come towards the end of the chunk and you can then take it forward through the discussion or maybe as a separate text description, etc. So the chunks are what decides how much engagement learners will have. So think of, so yeah, even in NPTEL you have varied length of videos, right? So in our course you have 7 to 10 minute length videos, some even at 4 minutes, and generally there are other faculty who go for 20-minute chunks also. So it is basically a call based on, and it all depends on the content that you want to deal with. Some content it may be long, but the moment you have a long content, remember to add reflection spots in between. That is very important. Week 2 we have already seen Dr. Gargi Banerjee talking of the number of reflection spots, what is ideal and all those things. If you have not seen that, please do watch. So hi to Nithi, hi to Renuka, hi to VS Kumar. Then there is Manisha, Pooja, Deepali, Gangaraju. Okay, so there is Deepali Dave, who is a keen poster keen person who is posting a lot of good questions in the discussion forums also. So she is saying, good afternoon, sir. I am from literature and language background. I don't know many tools to create videos for my English language classroom. Kindly brief about various tools and how to use them. See, briefing about tools may be slightly difficult in a live interaction, but generally any tool. So nowadays, video creation is so simple, right? See, with this particular mobile itself, you have a lot of ways, a lot of apps through which you can actually shoot. So here is an assignment to all those 30 people, sorry, 29 people other than Deepali who is listening to this interaction. Can you post at least one tool used for video creation? We have given some tools in the last week, but the major criteria is you should have used that tool and there should be a help video for that tool available in the web. Okay, so can you post that as a response to Deepali's question that she asked a couple of minutes back? Okay. Okay, so Dabayan is asking exam related query. Will the question pattern be same just like previous year for this course? So I hope Dabayan is writing this exam second time. Wow. If you have already gotten a certificate, then why should you write the exam again? But yeah, it is completely up to you. As far as the instructor is concerned, we generally do not disclose exam pattern. See, this is something that the instructors in the course designing LCM is very particular about. You're not in this business for getting marks. Okay, so one thing that I can tell you for sure is it is very difficult to fail in designing LCM course. So I'm writing out and giving it to you. It is absolutely difficult to fail in our course unless you have not done all the assignments correctly. Now, because of NPTEL's latest rule, if you don't get 40% in assignment, that is the only way in which many of you will fail, because most of you are faculty and you may not get enough time to do assignments. So even I am taking a NPTEL course this semester, German. I haven't done the first 2 weeks assignment. Now I'll have to start doing the third week's assignment. The due date was over. Yeah, so I have to, since still I have 8 weeks, I just need to submit 8 weeks worth assignment. I just have to ensure 40% pass marks. But that should be the least of your concern. The focus of this course is on learner centricity. So if you get something out of this course and you are able to use this in your classroom or in your professional setting or wherever you are, the idea of learning dialogue, the idea of learning by doing, the idea of learner experience interaction, the idea of learner extension trajectories, that is the biggest outcome that you can get. So I'm talking from outcome based education perspective. There were a lot of questions on that in the first week. So don't go after marks, go for the concept of learner centricity. If you get it through exams, well and good, that is fine. But if you're able to do the biggest, what do you say, example of understanding learner centricity is when you implement it in your own context, which may be classroom, whatever, wherever you are, okay, or professional life, or even daily life. If you can implement that, that is the biggest success of this course. I want to offer my, again, this course is not about a formal, what do you say, step-by-step process of, what do you say, offering a MOOC in some of the platform, okay. It is not about offering a MOOC, what are the procedures, etc. But it is about the pedagogy behind what you should have in a MOOC, okay. So just look for that. Okay, this is a genuine question from Gangaraju. Are we supposed to submit the practice activities of LED and LPD? It is not mandatory that you have to submit, but if you submit your activity, then many of your peers can actually go through the content. So last semester we had couple of our enthusiastic learners create their LEDs and upload it in the discussion forum. So maybe next week what we will do is, as the course ends, as a summary note, we will also share the discussion forum from the previous offerings of the course, and we will highlight. So yeah, this is an announcement. So we have a lot of discussion forum moderators who are working with us, who are looking through your discussion forum questions, postings, etc. And one task that we have allotted to them is identify the best discussion thread and the person who has given the best comment or the best post of the week. It is very subjective. There is nothing, there is nothing like, okay, because this person posted n number of things. That is not what the criteria is. Our discussion forum moderators go through the post on a daily basis, and whatever they like, they put it up as the best post and the best individual who has posted. So one thing that I will assure is, in the next week we are going to add a lesson which says which are the best posts that have been identified by the discussion forum moderators over the past 3 weeks. This we will post in the as a lesson, and you can see whether your post has come in that particular list, and we'll be constantly updating this list. It is a running list that we will update, and you can see which list, which person's discussion has come in that one, whether you are also taking part in that discussion or not. This you can see in the next week's course. So we will release that next week along with the next week's content. Okay, so this is an announcement. Now, having said that, if you want your LEDs and LBDs to garner a lot of discussions, please feel free to post. Maybe the discussion forum moderator may take that post as a best post because it may have good LED or LBD. Okay, no one knows. So please feel free to add your own practice question. You can put it in the general discussion forum under the tag miscellaneous. Okay. Okay, this is something that we always get. So Ashita, again, one more discussion forum, one more person whom all the course instructors know by name now. Okay, so all the people who are continuously posting in discussion forum like Tejinder, Dipali, Ashita, I mean, you guys are there in our what do you say, roll of honor boards. Okay, so every semester we have these superb individuals who post lot of good things, very what do you say, articulate in the discussion forum. We keep a tab of who these people are. Okay, so your names are now very familiar for all of us. So though we may not have seen you in person, your discussion forum posts are continuously shared in our internal groups. So Akshita's question is, which is the best method to create LEDs for programming languages? If you have to show how a program runs, how the variables are changing, etc. after each iteration. Fantastic question. So let me abstract it a little. So this may be even applicable in other subjects also, where you want to show something changing, where you want to show something very moving, which is not fixed, etc. like a program run and other things. The best method I would always say is a screencast, because you have a computer screen where this program is run, and for chemical and other things, try to identify simulations that can be run on a laptop and use screencasting technologies. There are a lot of screencasting technologies these days: Screencast-O-Matic, Screencastify, some more, I think do a lot of even you can do it in mobile also. So there are these lot of good screencasting technologies that are currently available, which actually will give you the desired result. Oh, I see that Dr. Samir Sahasrabudhe has also logged into the live interaction. So yeah, many of your queries might, and yes, many people have already used. Most of the questions have been answered over there. Explain the principles in preparing videos. So Renuka K's question, principles in preparing videos, I will put it as an open question. I think Dr. Samir would be able to better explain it. I'm not taking this question because it is very subjective. It depends on what the content you have. But the simplest thing that if you ask a LCM instructor is, the principle of making a video is that it should be engaging and it should be a learning dialogue, not a monologue. So that is the simplest principle that you have to follow. So just like how I am asking questions to all of you, and I see a lot of responses, right? And this actually tells me that all my audience are listening to me. So this is what you should have. This principle is what you should have in mind while you are creating videos. And yes, and Dr. Samir has already answered. There is a video which is titled Best Practices. Rupa DR, don't worry, you are late. This YouTube interaction you can stream once again from start, and you can listen to all this thing. This is not going anywhere. This it will be there in YouTube. Murlidhar Sharma, why not reflection spot at the end of the video? Absolutely no problem. The only thing about reflection spot is, so there is an interesting discussion in the discussion forum. What are the important? So where Dr. Gargi Banerjee has asked, what is the most important thing about a learning dialogue? Most important characteristic of a learning dialogue? And somebody has very clearly explained, taking a classroom example in mind, where there is something called feedback to the learner. Okay, so when you place your reflection spot at the end of the video, you should have an activity following it. It could be an LED, or it could be another LED, it could be a text, it could be anything, but it should be the instructor's summary or instructor's explanation on the answers to the reflection spot. Okay, the idea is whatever your learner is doing, they should get a feedback. It doesn't matter how you provide the feedback. If a video ends and you ask a question, the next subsequent activity or the next subsequent content should give the feedback, the desired feedback to the learner. Okay, so this is what you have to keep in mind. Okay, so there are a lot of people who are explaining, okay, screencast-o-matic, Camtasia. Camtasia, by the way, is professional, and it has a paid version, okay, which is really good. Okay, Dr. Bhupesh Mende is asking, what is meant by quadrant and module? Though it is not directly relevant in this course, a quadrant is basically in Swayam there is a thing called, there is a 4 quadrant structure, and if you actually look at LCM, it is also 4 quadrant, but it is enhanced than the 4 quadrant of Swayam. Okay, so even Swayam instructors, if you go to Class Central's latest report, 5 of the Swayam courses, no, 6 of the Swayam courses are there in Class Central's top 100 courses for 2019, and 4 of them have used some amount of learner-centric activities in that course. So go ahead and see which these courses are. I think there is in discussion forum also somebody has asked this question about the legitimacy of the Class Central ratings. It is purely a user-based rating. Okay, it is not like a Oscar award or anything. Okay, it is basically users who use Class Central. They have reviewed the course and they have given some amount of ratings. Okay, for the course with a detailed description. That has been consolidated and then put in as a rating. So based on the rating values, top 100 courses have been identified by Class Central. Class Central is a aggregator. If you have gone through week 1 LXT, you will know that Class Central is a aggregator for MOOCs. So Deepali, I am hoping that peers are giving you enough answers. So something to note at this point. So we are almost 30 minutes into this lecture. We started with 31 concurrent viewers. One of it is this. So we'll count it to 30. Out of the 30, the number of concurrent viewers at this point is 29. So the engagement of all of you is really appreciable. A big clap of hands to all of you. Okay, Edpuzzle, Pinnacle, these are video tools. While framing questions for our learners, how do we categorize them into graded and non-graded? Nidhi, you are asking fantastic questions. Again, Nidhi Sharma, one more person who is in the discussion forum Hall of Fame. So Nidhi, the question of how do we categorize them into graded and non-graded? Essentially, non-graded are all the practice activities. Okay, so think of it as your first steps that you give. Okay, simple questions where they can try out and even fail. The first opportunity for that is the non-graded questions or practice questions in LCM lingo. Now don't talk of questions anymore. Think of it as learning by doing activities. So there are graded learning by doing activities and ungraded learning by doing activities. The ungraded learning by doing activities follow the learning dialogues. So whenever you put some content related to the video and you try to push your learner first, that is ungraded. The graded one is at the end of it as a synthesis activity. If you want to give, these should be the graded learning by doing activities. At both the moment, the important thing to note is that you should give a feedback to the learner, which should not stop at whether it is correct or incorrect. You should give a detailed feedback to the learner. Okay, so this is what learning by doing is all about. iMovies in LED. Okay. Why customized is not provided in LED? Is it not important? Okay, so Nidhi Sharma is pointing out to a error. Why customized feedback is not provided in LBD activities? So course team, Lucian and others, if you are listening, there are certain LBD activities maybe for which the feedback has not been enabled. You may want to do a cross check. So Nidhi, we do feedback for all the answers. it may be a technical glitch. So we may have overlooked that feedback setting in some of it. I will ensure that it gets enabled by this week. Okay. Okay, Prabhu James, I couldn't complete the first 2 weeks. Can I complete them now and do all the assignments? So first 2 weeks, the due date is already over. So Prabhu, unfortunately, you won't be able to do those activities. So yeah, tough luck, but don't worry, there are 2 more weeks. So attempt 2 more weeks. We take the best 3 out of 4. So even if you do week 3 and week 4, you can still get a meaningful set of marks. Again, I tell you, meaning marks is the last thing that we are worried about. But yeah, for you to get a certificate, we know that most of you would be doing it as an FDP and it has relevance to your career progression, etc. The good thing is there are 2 more weeks worth content that is already that is there. Please do those assignments and then uh, ensure that you get a minimum of 25 percentage out of the 40 percentage out of the internal assessment. So last offering of the course, a learner of this course had created a sample Excel sheet with a pre-entered formula. So maybe next week we will share that with all the learners so that you can just evaluate what your marks are and whether you will qualify for the minimum 40 percentage criteria as NPTEL says. So this will give you a understanding of where you stand. Okay, so I will post this in the next week's content. If you have access to the last year's discussion forum, it is there. In that, some people are already looking into last course's discussion forum, last offering of the course, not last week's, last offering of the course. You can look for a post by, I think, Jatin Ambasana. Okay, so this is the person who created that particular Excel template. Okay, so Debayan, yes, I see that you are. So go ahead, write the exam. Try to, yeah, mentoring, it also depends on how many other faculty are there. And basically for you to be a mentor, you have to be a single point of contact from your local chapter. So for audience who do not know what local chapters are, maybe another session. We also have live streaming for single point of contacts every Wednesday. Maybe you would want to listen to some of them. Okay. Okay, so let me look at where do Swayam MOOCs stand in global standard. Investigations are still going on. So this is a question from Murlidhar Sharma. We'll come to know, maybe, see, it is evolving. So maybe in the next 2 runs, after that, once it stabilizes, we'll know where Swayam stands. So animations for chemistry lab, I will let Dr. Samir Sahasrabuddhe answer this. Ashita, you mentioned in one of the LEDs on LXT that if resource is a research paper, the question of AQ should be set from the abstract. If we do so, will the learner be going through the rest of the paper? So Ashita, so this is, okay, so I had said that yes, the research paper, the primary purpose of LXT is not to ensure that learner goes through the entire set of courses. It is to give them a trajectory. Okay, so if the learner is not interested in the question paper, why worry about it? I mean, at least he read the abstract, he know that there is a result, there is a research paper out of it. That itself will be a good outcome. Okay, but if the research paper has to be in core content in the course, then do not give it as a LXT. Okay, if you want the learner to go through the entire research paper because it is very important, then it is important that it is made part of the main content of the course. LXTs are optionals or optional activities where learner can pursue it based on their interest. when a MOOC course on MS Excel application is offered, how LED will be created? There are numerous ways. I mean, LEDs, it is up to the instructor. So for example, if I am going to do a VLOOKUP as a Excel function, I will then ask, okay, suppose I give VLOOKUP, which is the first column, which is the first value that I should add over here. That could be a LXT. It really depends on how the video is shot. There are numerous ways in which the reflection spots can be put. It could be as simple as they providing an answer to that particular formula, or connecting that formula, what it will do, open up what are the other ways of what does this formula do, what are the other similar formulas that you have already learned. So these could all be reflection spot things on MS Excel applications. Nidhi Sharma, once again, assimilation quizzes is tied to one LXT. Okay, each assimilation quiz is tied to one LXT. We are not saying that you should go through all learning extension trajectories. It is your interest. So see, we have these. So you have teachers in this forum, okay, who do not know tools, and there may be some people from industry who know the tools, but they are not. They do not have idea of what the research on these tools is at the current moment. So as a teacher, you may have access to research paper, but research is not primary focus for you, right? How things get done, the practitioner aspect of it is the more important part of it. So as a teacher, we are providing you with tools, and for industry people who know these tools, again telling about the tools does not make any sense, and hence for them we have ideas like research papers and other things as LXTs. Okay. Prabhu James, I should say it's a little inflexible. Also, my experience with Future Learn and this one is different. I think you understand the issue. Yes, inflexibility is there to a certain extent because it is tied to your academic semester. See, Swayam courses or Swayam MOOCs from Swayam are tied to your respective academic courses. I mean, academic semesters. And hence, this weekly assignment and all those things are important from a certification perspective. But if you are a learner, it is free. You can go through the content, you can go through the lessons and other things. So there are self-paced courses in Swayam also where you can take assignment. Assignment window is from start to finish, but then you will know the correct answers only at the end of the course. So and also see, for us to generate a repository of questions, it takes a lot of time, right? You need to run this course at least 5 or 6 times to come up with a huge repository that can be interchanged and given to you again and again, randomized and other things. So from that context, what is more important is you should look at why this initiative, why NPTEL or why Swayam NPTEL, what does it stand for? Future Learn has a completely different agenda, right? Completely different philosophy. So based on the purpose of the initiative, the platforms are decided and the kind of rules and restrictions are provided. So do not think of it as an inflexibility, but it is a system constraint that is causing this inflexibility. So there is a confusion in week 2's KQ. We have addressed it. We have released that content. I hope you also received the announcement as part of it. Muralidhar Sharma, who invented the idea, the wonderful idea of reflection spot, and when was it used first time? So reflection spot has been there for I mean centuries and ages. I mean you have your gurus pausing their lectures and asking you a question, right? That is reflection spot. You as a teacher yourself would have done that. So who invented is not the problem. The question should be, are you using, am I using the reflection spot as it is meant to be? Okay. So that should be the focus questions. Is there any order of questions like AQ, RQ and KQ? There is absolutely no order. AQs are tied with the learning extension trajectories, RQs are tied with the learner experience interactions, and KQs are tied with the entire content, which is the knowledge summary. Basically LEDs and LBDs. It is tied to LEDs and LBDs and basically your course experience. Okay, now I am going to the Google Sheet. Okay, so there are certain questions that has been released. So let me come one by one in terms of the okay, there is another question from Swati which says, please let me know software tool which helps in creating presentation for technical subjects such as digital signal processing control system, etc., which involves complicated equations, flow diagrams. Basically, your LaTeX is a good presentation tool, LaTeX and Beamer, and then you screencast it. That is a perfect thing for all the mathematical and other things. If there are others, please, I will ask the other peers. Now the viewers have reduced to 23, but all those who are seeing this interaction, if you can post any of the tools that will allow help in creation of presentations other than LaTeX, if you can share in this forum, that will be nice. There is a question from Meena P. Swami. Sir, to release the MOOC after design, should we seek any official permission? If so, who is the authority? So for Swayam, as I said, the national coordinators are the authority. So you will have to get permission to even offer a course through the respective national coordinator. The next question is from, okay, who is this person? Om Prakash Hebbal. I am unable to access practice activities LED 3.4. So let me check whether I am able to access LED 3.4. So this comes in week 3, 3.4, recommendation for effective LBDs, practice activity for LBD 3.4. Okay, so let me do a screen share to show what this is. So the practice activity for LED 3.4, it says LBD constructor is provided. Right click on this link. So now I right click on this link and click on save link as. Okay, and so all files. So you will have, then click on save, then the entire PowerPoint presentation will be downloaded over here, and this is yeah, you will not be able to see that in the window, but basically right click and save link as. So this is what you should be doing. I hope you are able to see that in the screen. Okay, let me do it once more. So I go on to this link and then right click it. Are you able to see it? I think it is not visible in the yeah, it is not visible in the chat screen right now, but basically take the mouse, go to that link. So you see the link getting highlighted. Use right click of your mouse, use right click of the mouse and then download that. Then it will get downloaded as a PowerPoint presentation. Okay. So LED 3.4 practice activity, there is no submit button. It is only the, okay, there is no submit button. All you have to do is, okay, let me again go back to the transition. The activity is pretty clear. You have to practice it as a self-check activity. This practice activity is a check for you to create LBD and do a self-evaluation. And that evaluation criteria is given over here. For each of these questions, look at where you stand, where your creation stands at the end of the creation process. Okay, so you may, yeah, there is no submission. So this is slightly misleading. There is no submit button. Sorry for this technical error. Lucien, you may want to remove this from the setting. Let's see how we can. It's not an assignment per se. If it is an assignment, you can just put a mark, put it as a numeric activity. Maybe, yeah, ignore this particular thing. So now I know why the confusion is there. Submit button is not there. Okay, now I understood what your problem is. It is not a, what do you say, it is not a activity where you have to give a feedback. Rather, it is for your own self-evaluation. Maybe Lucien, what we can do is we can give a good score. What is a overall? What is a good score? Where you need improvement, etc. Something like that. If we can give as a feedback on top of the rubric, this might be helpful for the learners. Okay, so let me now go and look into the other questions in the forum that were asked in the forum. So this is from Gaurav Kumar. My queries regarding review links provided under LXT 1.2 from class center MOOC statistics. So this is what I asked. The reviews from 2000 from 12 to 18. Kindly tell about the authenticity of the information provided under the said links. Can this information be validated from any research articles from any reputed journal? If not, then kindly provide some authentic and validated research articles for the said year's review of MOOCs which discuss the statistics related to various MOOC providers like Coursera, edX, Udacity, etc. I am interested in comparative study of various MOOC providers in terms of statistical information about their courses, learners, completion rate, etc. I have searched a lot for similar kind of literature, but I am unable to get any good research papers from SCI index journals. If possible, kindly provide 3 to 4 good research papers in this area. Okay, so comparison between multiple providers across multiple metrics. I don't think anybody has done that level of detailed research study. So if you look at Katie Jordan's web page, she is also a MOOC researcher. She has looked at completion rates, other things about across multiple things, but it is put as a statistical data, not as a research paper. Individual platforms, they have published their individual courses details. See, the whole problem about this MOOCs is there aren't any unifying metric over which all the MOOC platforms have agreed to get self-evaluated. Just like these university ranking, there is a QoS ranking, there is NIRF, there is a lot of different types of rankings available in today, right? I mean, just because it came in a journal, it only says that there is a very systematic method that has been used for what do you say, doing the evaluation. Okay. The others is the other things. Okay, whether the journal article is there, even I have not come across comparing multiple platforms, because see, at some level you are comparing apples to oranges, because each platform will have its own guiding philosophy, will have its own marketing techniques, will have its own business logic in which it is getting run, and you cannot compare one business logic with another if they are very different. Okay, so I don't think it is good idea to look at reviews at that level. But Class Central and all those things, what it says is what have users said about these courses. That you can read from their user reviews. Okay, so that is something that you should go through. So it is like, okay, which let me tell you, okay, which computer science course is better? Whether computer science in IIT Madras, whether computer science course in IIT Bombay, or computer science in your own college. So this is highly subjective. It depends on who the learner is. A lot of lot of factors are there in comparisons. Okay. At the end of the day, what is more important is the learner getting engaged, is the learner getting some useful amount of learning happening in that course. That is the most important thing. Okay, so this is Dabayan's first question. When students are working on a learner-centric MOOC, is there a simple way to measure the perception of learning and the transition pattern using ISAT, for example, after they are grouped in different cohorts according to their merit? There aren't any simple ways. You should have access to the data. Perception, always you can collect through surveys. Marks and other things you can get from their assignment scores. This then has to be used with the appropriate comparison tool that you are using. There aren't any simple or easy ways as such. Many MOOC providers, they look at cohorts. That is one thing that each of them will have a business BI module, business intelligence module that provides these reports. Okay, that is what provides these information. LED 3.4 practice button, I have clarified. Bhavani, I hope you have listened to the answer. Meenakshi Patil has asked, during 45 to 60 minute session, how many LEDs are more effective? 45 to 60 minutes, where are you doing? 45 to 60 minutes online. So regardless of the number of LEDs, I will assure you that it may not be as effective because you may not get a student to sit for 45 to 60 minutes continuously on your video. But if you allow for student to come back and rewatch the content from where they left off, and there is something connecting each other, then yeah, occasionally it depends. It really depends on the subject. It really depends on the content. But yeah, useful thumb rule that you can take is one LED roughly every 5 minutes should do the trick. But again, yeah, it is highly subjective. You will have to try it out and see whether it is working for the audience. Debayan is asking another question. In my experience, I can say that students want to pose questions inside a classroom while listening to a face-to-face lecture. Can H5P be used to give scope of questions in between while listening in an LED? Yes. So the question is, can H5P be used for collecting questions from students at any point? So see, it is a creator tool. Okay, so the H5P interactions are controlled by the creator of the interaction. So you cannot have student ask questions at random points through H5P. But there are other tools that allow questions to be embedded onto a live stream. I've seen a couple of video tools that has been used. So it is called Annotations. So if you look at these applications like StreamCloud and other things, you can see annotations. So learners putting up comments. So even in your, so the video chat right now, okay. So if I go through the video chat right now, all these chat responses that you are giving, they are actually being annotated to that respective timeline. So you can think of it as questions coming at that particular time. So what I would recommend is, are there tools to ask questions? It is always better not to rely on video annotation tools. Rather put it up in open. So if it is a face-to-face classroom, use tools like Google Docs or Padlet, etc. to collect the question. Okay, that is a much more easier way to do it. There is one last question from Ashita. After designing our MOOC by following the model and guidelines described in the course, what is to be done for its installation, or what are the steps for setting it up? Unfortunately, we are not dealing that in this course. So you can think of this question as a out of syllabus question. But jokes apart, let me identify ways in which you can do it. So there are a lot of these private online course hosting services. So for example, if you are familiar with Moodle, there is a very popular tool called hosting service called Moodle Cloud. or another one called Gnomio, Gnomio. Okay, they provide websites for you to host Moodle courses. So if you develop good LCM content, the best thing is go to Gnomio, create a site, upload your content and release it to the learners whom you want. There are certain file upload restrictions in Gnomio, but that is fine to start off. This is a very good idea. The actual MOOC creation, again, if you are making really good progress, then application through your university to CEC or UGC might be a good way that you want to proceed with it further. Okay, so this is something you will have to take a call after you do a pilot. Okay, so that is what we have. So I have covered most of the questions. VS Kumar, how can we contact the national coordinators? Go to swayam.gov.in. There is a tab called National Coordinators in it. Click on it. You will see the contact information for the national coordinators. Okay. So thank you Dr. Samir and Lucian for supporting me in this effort. So if you see the entire LCM team, we just have our backs. So whenever somebody comes on live, you will have somebody else answering to you in the chat, so that none of your questions go unanswered. So this is what we talk of about learner centricity. At the end of the day, none of your learners should go back with the feeling, oh, I didn't get what I wanted. I mean, you may not get all those things what you wanted, but the course is there to ensure that you get at least some part of it, some good chunk of it you get out of this course. And it is the course instructors and the course teams. So by course team, I mean the people who create these videos, the people who set up these live interactions, the office admin team, the logistics team, the local chapter team. It's a big team effort, including the discussion forum moderators and the learners like you, who actually are part of this large course team. This is a very big team effort that you are seeing, and this is where we say that learner centricity is important. And now that you have experienced learner centricity, one request from my side is take up NPTEL courses, encourage your learners to take NPTEL courses in the next semester and enroll yourself as mentors to them. And you can provide them the required learner-centric support, like giving feedback, providing learning extension trajectories outside the SWAYAM system. I mean, absolutely fine. Mentors are recognized, and if your learners do get motivated in learning the content and they write the exam, then you will get a mentorship certificate from NPTEL. So this is our way to acknowledge your participation. Okay. So thank you all the 20 or 29 participants who were there at the start, and the 21 participants. So we have 21 people still here. So we out of 30, we have 70% consistency now for 1 hour. So I thank you for maintaining 70% consistency and asking very good questions. And so please post in discussion forums from now onwards. We'll identify the top forum posts and put it up in the main lesson from next week. So this is a public announcement, and we will have some more surprises for you next week. We will tune into next week's live interaction for more. Thank you everyone.